So I was like, yo, they are getting into chemicals. What in the shit is this?
That mosquito is so big, bro.
I'm not lying. I killed one. I thought it was a damn mosquito. I was like, yo, this shit is a mosquito. Like, where the hell are they coming from like that? And Tyler got the look. He said, no, fool, it's not. He just threw me online live like that. I don't care. I thought they were mosquitoes.
I asked if y'all were ready, and y'all kept going. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm just gonna push the button.
Push the button.
I ain't scared of it. Like,
Elevator go up. Elevator go down. Y'all know about that. Y'all know about that. That is Tiny Toons. Go down the hole.
Welcome back to another episode of the Get Down. I am your boy, the Hamma.
I'm your boy Snake.
I'm Mingo D with the arms.
And we are about to get into this, get a little nerdy, and talk some gaming news.
Yeah.
Not in any particular order, but definitely gaming news. So let's start off with a little semi-hating, but it's worth the conversation. So there's a gentleman named Sean Layden, and I hope I'm saying his name right. Forgive me if I'm not. His name's Sean Layden. He used to work for PlayStation. He was pretty much responsible for the success of the PlayStation 4 and the success like through the whole thing. And he had all the ideas for what games to bring on and marketing and everything else. He was the head of PlayStation North America. Well, he went for the big job for taking over like all of, to be over PlayStation, and lost out and lost the bid to be over PlayStation 5. So he left the company. Well, apparently, he's still notable in the gaming world. I mean, people still listen to him. I mean, he was responsible or partially responsible for one of the most successful consoles of all time. And he recently made a statement saying that he doesn't think that Xbox Game Pass is a viable thing. He doesn't think it's going to last. And the reason behind it is interesting. I don't agree, but let me tell you his thinking on this. His thinking is that it won't last because in order for it to be successful, they would have to have 500 million subscribers in order to turn a profit. Now, I think that's weird because, first of all, Xbox Game Pass, just the basic, is $9.99 a month. If you have 200 million subscribers or 20 million subscribers, $10 a month, you're still looking at like what was it, like $200 million? Like it is some astronomical number. But people fail to forget that there are a lot of people, including myself, because I just did a few minutes ago, that have the Game Pass Ultimate because it includes the Xbox Live in it, and you get to convert, like it works on the Xbox and on the PC. And there's a lot of people that play both, and it's just more beneficial. There's 3 or 4 other benefits to having the Ultimate as well. So those subscriptions are like $14.99. So the logic that it's not going to work because you got to have 500 million subscribers, to me, is kind of meh. What made more sense in what he was saying was the unbelievable cost of making a game. Now, when he started talking about this, I thought, okay, he's got some points there, because as you know, with this new console generation, games have went from $70 to like $80, or $60 to $70, whichever one it is. I mean, I usually, when they have tiers, I end up buying like the mid tier of whatever it is because you get something extra. But the price of gaming went up because of the cost. He estimates that for each console new generation, it doubles in price to make a game. So let's say it took $20 million to make 360. That means it took a minimum of $40 million to make a game on Xbox One and PS4. So now he's thinking, since this has jumped to the next generation, it's going to be like $80 million to make a single game for PS5, Xbox One S, or X. There's some logic in that because if you notice, the game's only getting bigger, they're only getting prettier, and it's taking longer to make them. I mean, we've seen delays, minus COVID, but if you really look at it, it is taking some of these games a really long time to develop. Even some of the games that were in development before COVID, they still weren't scheduled to be out until sometime next year, and they were in development in the beginning, like 2 or 3 years out from this console that just released. And there's still another year or two out. So, it's taking even longer to develop the games for the current console. All in all, I still think, and I'm going to get y'all's opinion on it too, I still think he's kind of hating a little bit because he threw shots even at PlayStation 2 because he made the comment that PlayStation did need to figure something out to compete with Sony needed to figure something out to compete with Game Pass at a certain point, because their focus seems to always be on a certain type of AAA game when they're developing games or when they're trying to bring games to the console. And when you really think about it, he's got a point, because a lot of the more popular games that are on PlayStation, and it took me a while to realize this, outside of, it's not exclusive anymore. I was going to say MLB The Show, but it's not exclusive anymore. But a lot of the games that are exclusive or that are like big hits on PlayStation are over the shoulder, like third person over the shoulder, adventure type games. Like, think about how many exist like that, or games where they're mission driven or they have an objective. Like, that's their cash cow. And that's the most of what they have. Whereas on an Xbox, you kind of get a good mixture of everything, especially with Game Pass, because it makes it easier for them to appeal to, the AA, the smaller AAAs and the double A's and independents that, you might not see on any other console because they have an outlet now with Game Pass. I think he was right in saying what he said about PlayStation, but in a way, I still think he was kind of throwing shade a little bit. I think he feels a certain kind of way. And I personally feel like that may be why he lost out on the PS5, being the head for PS5, because of his thought process. Because apparently this isn't new. He had voiced this before he lost out on the job for the PS5 and then decided to leave the company because they didn't agree with what he was saying. So, and Domingo's got that hand right there, so I'm going to go to him first. I got to get your opinion. Do you think he's throwing shade? Do you think he has a point? Do you think he's wrong? I personally think he's wrong. So,
I think he's somewhat right with PlayStation. Because I think PlayStation I think their focus is more on the big games or whatever as far as pushing them out. But to some extent. And I say that because PlayStation Studios, since I think they've gelled or they got the right type of equation, I would say, to where they're able to put out their games like Naughty Dog games. Even when they are delayed, they still come out and they don't really have that many bugs and so forth and so on. So I think their AAAs are fine, but I do think that they focus on them too much. So I do think he's right about that, but I don't think that it's as big of a problem to where they're not going to be able to put out enough or let's say enough games to make their quota, if that makes any sense. But at the same time, PlayStation, just like Xbox, they do have indie studios. And if you remember, a while ago, somebody put out that game Journey that came to PlayStation first and was an exclusive. And Journey kicked everybody's butt. And it was just a basic game that somebody put together that was really amazing. It didn't really have too many complications. It was by an indie studio. So, and I know that I know there are more indie studios putting out stuff like that. Now going back to what he was saying about to the other two things that I think he's definitely wrong about. Number one is the Game Pass thing. I'm gonna say that because first off, you gotta remember Microsoft. Even though Microsoft has been somewhat losing console-wise to PlayStation, at least last generation, if you want to say that, they're still Microsoft. And Microsoft when it comes to per capita and how much money they make in general compared to Sony, even though Sony does have movies and stuff like that, Microsoft still makes a lot of money in general because they still sell PCs. They still do the whole, Windows thing on just about every, even on Macs and things like that. So, and then they do the whole, the PowerPoint suite and stuff that they're selling and all that. And I know that has nothing to do with games, but I'm just saying that even if they lose a little bit of money on the game front, they can afford it. So therefore, they can play the long game. And if they wanted to, wait to get about 1 billion subscribers to make all that money back and then some. But I don't think they have to worry about that because just like you said, the tier listing of the different prices they make. And then also something else he missed is that Phil Spencer isn't making Xbox Game Pass exclusive to PC only and Xbox to where you have to have an Xbox whatever system or a PC whatever to get a Game Pass subscription. You can get it just about anywhere, and that is the difference maker there. So if I have an Android phone and I get Game Pass on there and I'm able to play some mobile games that Xbox releases or whatever the case may be, I still have Game Pass. If I get it on my smart TV and I'm able to play games on my smart TV for Game Pass, there you go. If I get it on a Mac or if I get anything else, you can get Game Pass just because and play it anywhere, and that is the lure for Game Pass. So therefore, it's not too hard to see them making that money back, and I think they can make it with less than $1 billion. I think he was just probably throwing out $1 billion to try to be a little sarcastic and a little over the top because I think he was hating there. I don't think they need that much, honestly, especially because when you look at like in streaming in general or just other games and services and things like that, they don't need, like when you look at the Call of Duties, War Zones, or anybody that has like paid DLC and they do that stuff for a long period of time, they don't necessarily need millions and billions and billions. They figure out a way to sell you the stuff. Look at GTA, and then they make that money. And GTA isn't something that's like, they're gonna lose money because they're still doing the old system. I think he was just really just kind of hating because it's a really Game Pass is a good idea. It's not the first, but it is the official Netflix of video games per se, game subscription thing that everybody loves. So it's working. And also with the, I would say I half agree, but I still mostly disagree with him when it comes to talking about how much games are being made and everything else as far as like the price, as far as like how hard it is. I will agree and say that, yeah, when you're thinking about the AAA games or more so like open world or MMO type games, nowadays, yes, that is going to be harder to do because the worlds are going to be bigger. You're going to be putting more things into it. You need more. You have to pay for the mocap and this and that and this and that. Yes, so that can take longer. But if we're just making a basic single player game or even a basic co-op game and it's just linear where you can just jump in, y'all play the story mode, it's done, or like what Halo is doing. Or not Halo, what is that? Battlefield is doing. It's just made on multiplayer only. It's not the story and multiplayer. It's not all this extra, just this stuff right here. Then you don't necessarily need to worry about the game being super over the top. You can create the game the same way you've been doing it with the same pricing and still get it out there, in my opinion. And then also, he forgot with the new technology, what he has to remember is that one of the things that everybody been getting I know I have, or any console gamers been getting like really frustrated with way back in the day was you have the PC gamers coming out saying we're way superior. Why do they say that? They say because we have the hardware, we can mod, we can fix up stuff. It doesn't take long for code to run through an actual PC. So if we wanted to create a game or games being made like Minecraft or anything else, it can be made and be done perfectly on a PC. Well, if these consoles are getting better and better to the point to where it's like a PC, then I think that's where where the time it takes or the difficulty there it is to create a game is going to the easiness with the hardware, and then it's going to level out. Because if PCs are made to handle all that, and therefore it makes it that much easier, then making games should be easier. But when you were trying to make games on a PS3 or Xbox One or Xbox 360, that hardware was kind of hard to really make a game sit. So you had problems. And even with the PlayStation 4s and like I said, Xbox One, it's harder. But now the game, it should just get easier and easier. I mean, look at Unreal. Unreal just put out that new thing, and they're saying that they can cut your game development time in half. So I think honestly on that part, he was really just hating because he doesn't have anywhere to work. Me personally, I mean, it's my opinion. I don't know. I'm not on the inside like he is, but still, I really believe that on that. I disagree with him on that. I feel like that it's not always like that. I don't think every game is 100% difficult. I think it's still more so, you know, might have a suit over here, you might have development issues sometimes, but I think all in all, I think that, you know, the more and more technology improves, technically it should be easier for life. I mean, of course, the first iPhone was horrible, but now we have the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 12. You can't tell me that it can't do 10 times better than what the iPhone 1 used to. That's, you know, that'll be kind of stupid to say, oh, the more technology gets better, the harder it is to put processors and stuff in there. Apparently not. If they can do it, everything else should be able to do it. That's technically how the world works. So, I don't know. I disagree with that. The only thing I agree with is the fact that that PlayStation needs to stop 100 focusing entirely on AAA, because eventually they may, let's say they may be at the same level with Xbox now, or they may be a little bit ahead if it is true that Game Pass isn't, I don't think it is, that Game Pass isn't up to par. But even if that is the case, Game Pass, especially with the pandemic not being over completely yet, it's just gonna grow and grow and grow, because people, sad to say, we're lazy. It is true. It's just people are lazy, and we're not lazy. People are spoiled. Let's say
they enjoy convenience.
Yes, and it's more convenient, you know, if you can stay home and you can download it. You don't got to go to the Walmart, the Best Buy, the GameStop, or even Best Buy and them say, hey, we'll give you a discount deal if you buy it through here through Game Pass, because that could be a thing. And then you stay home. And there you go. You don't really have to get up unless you're going to the restroom or to go get chips or something. Unless you get one of them little long little thingies to where you can just go grab my chips and you got it. I don't know if that. No, I wouldn't. Just get up and go to the refrigerator, people. But yeah, that's my take on it. I disagree with him on 2. Agree with him on 1, kind of. Well, yeah, I'm on 1. So there you go.
All right, cool. And you brought up a good point when you said Netflix, because that was something else that I thought about too. Like, so you telling me that you don't think this platform will work, but Netflix and Disney Plus, like 100% work, and they technically deliver the same thing.
Yeah. And they both want to get into the gaming industry, so it's like, come on. So
I feel like Netflix knew in the very beginning that they were probably going to take a hit. If, you know, initially, you have to make an investment. I don't even consider that a hit, because it's an investment into a product you're trying to put out to make money. And anybody that's been in any kind of business, even if you haven't been in business for yourself, you still know that the philosophy is, in order to make money, you got to spend a little money. It's just how it is. You got to invest in your product. So I mean, Netflix took a hit when it first came out. There's no way in the world they didn't take a hit. You know, you guys think, when they were delivering discs to the house and all that, like, there are people that kept the damn disc, and even though they charged them, some of them people didn't care. They just kept the disc and didn't even worry about Netflix no more. They didn't subscribe to it no more. They're just like, oh, I got the movie now. I don't give a damn. I just wanted it. So they got it. I mean, and Netflix still had to replace that disc because they had other customers that would ask for that movie. So I mean, you know, not to mention the cost of when they do get games back, they might be damaged, you know, and if they're repairable, I'm sure they were, you know, putting them in machines to try to repair what they could, and some of them were unrepairable when they got them back, you know, so they instead of trying to even fix it, they just destroy it and get another copy that cost them. So I mean, they took a hit. Disney Plus straight up said when they were coming out with their service, we're gonna take a hit, but we feel like this will be an awesome way to deliver all of our content to people at the house, even the content that is older, we can just throw it on here and you can watch it as many times as you want to. Because you got to think about, and I know it's coming eventually if they haven't already done it. Whenever they release some of these movies from the vault that they like to do for Disney, the cartoons every once in a while, something from the vault.
Oh man, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I guarantee you they're gonna release from the vault and stick it on Netflix. I mean on Disney Plus. Hey, you can watch it here for so long, and then we're just going back in the vault. And they may charge you an extra couple of bucks, but there are people that are gonna be like, "Ooh, you know what? I like that damn movie, so I'm gonna watch it," and they pay for it. So I mean,
yeah,
saying that it won't work is just, to me, I'm like, bro, you hating. You just, you kind of wish you came up with that idea, because there's no way. If Netflix can do it with just movies, and they're wanting to get into the gaming industry, Game Pass 100%, I think it's going to continue to work.
Misery loves company. I got fired. None of this stuff should work.
Exactly. I think that's what a lot of it is. It's like I said, it just, like there's no way. You can't believe that it's not, just absolutely not going to work. I mean, it's already worked. It's proven that it works. People love Game Pass. I've heard very, very few negative things about Game Pass. Like, who wouldn't want a library of games to play, plus like day one games coming to a subscription service where I can play it, and if I hate it, I'm not out of $70.
Yep.
Bro, like that's, come on. Real quick, shout out to Clint Bazell. He's watching the show on Facebook. Appreciate you, brother.
Hey.
You've been here before and chatted with us. Appreciate you for tuning in. Mr. Snake over there who's playing a little bit of what looks like to be Ascent. Do you have any opinion about what we're talking about at all before I move on to the next terrible subject?
Mingo pretty much said that all.
You're muted.
Hold on.
Still muted.
Okay, so you're saying no. Okay.
I said no. Domingo pretty much said all that. Like.
Okay. Got you. All right. So, to follow in the negative news, I'm gonna just go ahead and get it out of the way before we move to some positive. We'll finish the show positive. We'll just get all the negative out right here in the beginning. So, the president of Blizzard, which is an Activision company, is stepping down. His name is J. Allen Brack. He is stepping down as president of Blizzard. In case you didn't know, I'm gonna give you an update. Blizzard is kind of up the creek right now. They have several. They basically, the state of California has filed against them for multiple reasons. There's allegations of discrimination, widespread discrimination, sexual assault, or sexual harassment, not assault, sexual harassment, and misconduct, like across the board, among other things. And it's gotten pretty bad. I mean, because he's not the only person to step down, but just recently, I think like a day ago, he decided to step down as well. This whole situation with Activision Blizzard it's been pretty widely publicized, and it's crazy when you start reading all the stories about what happened. It's kind of like, holy shit. Y'all got some stuff going on in-house over there. Y'all need to fix this. And it's weird because they've tried to, like, if you look at some of the replacements for some of the people that have stepped down, they've been people they've been minorities. Here we go. That's what I'm looking for. They've been minorities. They've been women. They've been anything but men, and, well, they've been anything but what would be considered the typical man that would have that job. And I think, along with some other people, and I'm not just saying this is even some other articles that I read, it looks as if they're trying to clean up the situation while the situation's going on. I don't think it's going to help, because there's a lot of stuff. I'm not going to go into detail about all that, because we're going to keep it nerdy, but there's a lot of stuff going down on there. And I don't think them trying to show good, faith now is going to fix it completely. It may help a little bit, but it is not going to fix what was done already and what was already filed against them for. Yeah, it's a little late for that. It's gonna be some stuff.
Yeah.
It sucks for them, because you got to think, Activision Blizzard. I mean, obviously they're responsible for. I mean, unless you've been under a rock, Blizzard is responsible for one of the largest PC games of like all time. World of Warcraft. and how many ever expansions there's been in that game. It's like isn't that like the longest running game of all time, World of Warcraft?
One of them,
longest
yeah.
running PC game. Yeah, it's got to be. And it sucks because that affects that, but it can also affect. You got to remember it's Activision Blizzard, so titles like Call of Duty and others are affected in this too. Another thing that was interesting, they showed a clip. I watched a clip of this very guy, along with some other people that were on a panel at a con, and a lady stood up and she praised them for their work on World of Warcraft and building, expanding on the women characters and making powerful women characters that you could make and have and whatnot. But she asked, could they just not look like they just walked out of a Sports Illustrated swimsuit catalog? And instead of him taking it serious, I mean, you can't control what the crowd does. I mean, there was a bunch of dudes in the crowd that was booing, boo, typical dudes.
Yeah, it started out and then it went boo, real fast.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you're in a higher up position like that in the company, you and other people on the stage cannot laugh off this lady's concern and something like that. Like, you just put a target on you and the company by laughing at that. And then asking, like, well, what catalog would you want it to come from? I'm like, well, dude, no, that's not the right answer. Mm-hmm. You just tell her, like, hey, that's something maybe we can look at in the future. Even if nothing comes of it, you got to learn how to play a little defense. If you can't just in 2021 or 2020, wherever that was at, you can't laugh something like that off. Not with the Me Too thing and all this. You cannot. That was strike. If that wasn't, if the other stuff wasn't already going on, that would have been strike number one right there. Like you cannot laugh off the seriousness of what she was asking, because she was dead serious. And like I said, this dude stepping down, I don't think it's gonna help him. I think he knew a lot of this stuff going on, and I think he let it happen. And I think he's gonna be held accountable. And go ahead, nigga.
Yeah. No, I was saying one of the things that I did hear, and this is just the basics, which was they said it was ran like a frat house. Like and everybody knows different frat houses, but think of the worst stereotypical, whether it's white, black, Mexican, whatever. Think of the worst typical frat house in your mind, and that's what it was. It was like the men can come in there and they can. Stupid. The men can come in there and they can pretty much do what they want. Women had to come in there and they had to be like pristine, but the men can come in there. Like one of the things that they say is that the men can come in there late. Like they can come in there almost 2, 3, 4 hours and then do a little work and they get paid a lot. And the women have to work their butt off from like 6 until, and then they stay late and stuff like that. And then the men can kind of just talk to the women however they want to, like sex, like all the sexual harassment things. So think of it as, like a frat house. They could probably maybe like, girl, it's okay, whatever. Bow, smack on the butt like she on the football team or something, and then keep it moving, or blow kisses at her, or say, girl, I see you later. Whatever. It was just the men could do what they want, the women could not. Some of the men would fall asleep at the computer, not care, or push off their work into others or whatever, or in lower status than them, whatever the people that were getting paid way lower than them or whatever, and they just ran it like a monopoly. And apparently these guys supposedly had known about it. That's the allegations going on. They known about it, and then when it was brought to them, they were like, we'll take care of it. And then eventually it was like, I hate to bring in how this is not all police forces, but how some police forces do, how they always gonna put you on relief or whatever, or we're gonna put you on just give you some pay and send you on a vacation, but not really punish you. It was kind of like that. Apparently, it was like sometimes the punishments were we're going to send them on a vacation for a little while, and then when everything blows over,
administrative leave.
Yep, and then the person would kind of come back later, and then it was like nothing happened, and then so it was those types of things going on. And you've seen these at different companies before, but they said this has been going on for a while, and then it just started really getting out of control, especially with the women. They said it happened with minorities and other things, like it's happened with minorities, people who are who are like at the frat that were considered to be the rookies. It was just bad all around. It was like if you just got there and you were an intern or you just started working there, you were going to pretty much get hazed or whatever. I mean, not real hazed, but whatever their version of how they would treat you horribly. And then if you were a woman, just go ahead and just not work there because that's how bad it would be continually, even if you got up in the ranks. It was just bad. So that's what the allegations are. And without going into a whole bunch of details, just to give y'all the idea, and you can kind of go read this stuff and go watch some of the stuff, but that's the idea of what was going on. And like you said, at that panel, they used that panel as evidence or whatever, so who knows whatever else they got to say that these guys kind of didn't care about females at all. So, and they used that, and I don't know how out of context or in context that clip was, but from where I was sitting, based off the allegations, it don't look good. So even if it was out of context and maybe they fixed it, it's just the fact that y'all let that happen, and then all of this stuff happened, and y'all never fixed it. And supposedly they're trying to get this is the kicker. This is the fun part. they're hiring their own internal lawyers to
I saw that. Yeah.
Now if y'all remember how Warner Brothers did at one point when it came to the whole Joss Whedon thing, it's similar to that. They got their own lawyers to kind of come in and do an internal investigation. The problem with that is that it's your own lawyers. So now it's been up ruckus about that, saying, wait, y'all can't use y'all lawyers. Those lawyers are lawyers for y'all. We need to get some people who don't like nobody and have them come in here and do an investigation. So now there's that. So and then as you said, more people are stepping down, I guess trying to, wash their hands of it. So it looks bad because to me, the more people step down, it's kind of like you're saying you're guilty. It's like, oh, we did that? And it's like, or it could be the whole thing of maybe it could be, let's say one guy that does something bad and the other guy's like, well, you was there, you didn't stop me. Well, I thought you was going to stop on your own. Well, now you with me. And it's like, get you. I quit. And then he jump out. And it's like, well, the rest of y'all saw me do it too. All y'all saw me stab this dude. Y'all all with me. And then they all get up out of here.
I'm willing to bet you're right about that. I'm willing to bet that there's a couple of these, because there's been several people that stepped down and left or whatever. I'm willing to bet that some of them have stepped down because of all the attention and the fact that they were like, nope, I want no part of this. I didn't have nothing to do with this, but I want no part of this. I don't want them coming to ask me nothing. Because I don't know. Some people, listen, I'm the type, even at work, whenever people walk in and they start having conversations that I deem above my pay grade, I quietly remove myself. Some of this may be them, church finger out the door. Because I'm like, nope, I want no part of this. I don't even want to know what's going on. I don't want to hear anything, because if I hear something, that means I was there and I witnessed it, and I don't want nobody to ask me no questions. I think a couple of them are probably that. There may be some people that were oblivious to it, and then they saw all this and they were like, oh, hell no, it's fixing to be anarchy in here. I'm out. I want no parts of this. I can turn in my resume right now and it's clean, and I can get another job somewhere before it gets out of hand, and they booked it. Some of these people, though, you're right, are trying to step down like, oh, we didn't know this was going to get out like that. I probably should have did something about it. Let me exit stage right and try to pay myself.
Save their contracts, because, you know how it goes. It's like, it's a certain amount of money you can get, and, certain 401k or family benefits and stuff, and if you get caught with some stuff like that, that might mess all that up, so they're trying to hold on to that.
Yeah, because it's something like that. I'm pretty sure there's a clause, because like even in my job, I'm pretty sure there's a clause where you can lose, like if you have stock holdings with a company or certain things, you can lose all of that if something bad enough happens. They reserve the right to take it, and you lose everything. You don't have retirement, you don't have nothing. So I mean, some people they're risking some things here. It's like, oh snap.
Yeah. So, and then also with something else I thought about, because you kept saying Activision and Call of Duty. I'm thinking Activision owns them. If it gets bad enough, I could see Activision saying, you know what? we're releasing y'all just to save Call of Duty and their money making stuff. They might release Blizzard and just get rid of them. So I mean, I don't. I
That's
mean,
a hell of a hit, though.
yeah.
That's a hell of a hit,
but you,
it may be worth it.
yeah. And also, if you know how stuff goes on the
about,
inside, if you're hearing something, you like,
yeah. See, and the thing is, like, I don't know if it's like a joint deal with them or if Activision really owns them all the way.
Right.
Because if it's like a joint thing, you know, I can see Activision being like, you know what, hey, no, y'all got to find something else to do. We're not going to be tied to this shit. No.
Yep.
But, you know, World of Warcraft is, like I said, that's like one of the longest running games ever. That's a hell of a hit. You know how much money people spend on work. Listen, my little brother, shout out to my little brother, man. He spends a shit ton of money on World of Warcraft when it comes out. He buys stuff. He gets every expansion. You know, he try to play like he does. And that's a lot of money to lose, or at least access to money to lose. But I think if this is as bad as it is, if it's really on the Blizzard side, I think Activision is obligated to just save themselves. I think they're obligated to be like, you know what, we're going to take a hit, but look, this is going to be way better than the hit y'all just take because we're not going to fuck out no cash for y'all bullshit. So,
yeah,
y'all are responsible for all that. We don't own y'all no more, so anything legal that's going on, happening on y'all's shit, we're not in it.
I mean, if I was them, man, if it, I don't know how the legal procedures go. Hopefully, it can be settled something nice outside of, you know. I mean, they still gonna have to like really like do something to fire those people. But for as far as the company's concerned, maybe it can be settled nicely outside of the TV and courts and stuff like that. But if not, they best for company wise just to say, look, we're going to like do a split or a 80-20 type thing, and maybe you sell some stuff to Activision to get out from under or whatever, so you can be saved or something like that. Because if I was Activision, I might just say, look, in order for us not to just end everything, you got to give us all the rights to World of Warcraft, and then we'll, you know, give you this severance pay, and y'all can move on. But we taking World of Warcraft or something, you know. I don't know. I really don't know how it's gonna go, but it's gonna be something. It's gonna be something.
It is. That it is. Snake, you got an opinion at all? Because we actually hit both of my questions. I was gonna ask a question, but we kind of hit it. As far as, you know, what does it mean for the future of the games there? You know, do we think it's gonna hit it? We kind of talked about it. So, do you have anything you want to add about what's going on?
No, not really. Like, surprisingly.
that is a surprise thing because he's usually very, very opinionated. So the fact that he ain't got nothing to say, pretty surprising.
Would you be mad if they took away Call of Duty? If everything died and Call of Duty was just gone, and they said, and then you know the government's like stamp, boom, we destroying, taking y'all out, no more nothing.
The only reason why Call of Duty won't die,
somebody would pick it up. So
yeah,
somebody would jump on that shit.
The thing is, it wouldn't. Nobody would have to pick it up because you got to remember, there's already two companies. There's already two developers that work on Call of Duty. You know, Activision does most of the past stuff, the older, you know, like they did World at War, all the Black Ops is Activision. Sledgehammer does all of your modern stuff, and they did that stupid futuristic crap. But if this would have happened, I think Sledgehammer would just pick it up and just roll with it. And, you know, you might not see as many, you know, World War II era Call of Duty games anymore, but I think Sledgehammer will just assume control of all of it and be done with it. You know, Activision
I don't want it to happen because I don't want Microsoft to say, hey, we just gonna buy it and we just that amazing because we gonna buy everything. No. So
if
they would.
Good God. If Microsoft bought Activision, it's a wrap. It is a
I can
wrap.
just see Phil Spencer right now just saying, I wonder what I can get out of this whole lawsuit thing.
He might be keeping his ear, you know, he might be keeping an eye out for when the dust settles to see if they in financial strain. And it's kind of like floating out there, and he'll be like, hey, I got a check. What y'all want to do?
Straight mafia.
Can you imagine, like,
Microsoft
purchases Blizzard? or Microsoft purchases Activision. Like, bro, it was already enough that they got Bethesda. Okay, that was already huge. That they, bought the rights to Bethesda. Can you imagine if they bought the rights to play? I'm telling you now, they're not gonna play that shit. They'll clean house.
And it wouldn't even be a monopoly, because the way that it would be looked is that because these companies are under such, dire distress that they're helping them, it'd be so legal. Oh man, it would work.
It's not a monopoly because they don't turn them into. It's the way they purchase them. Just like Bethesda is still able to. It's still like ZeniMax, Bethesda. And they're still able to operate under that. So it's kind of like Google had to do to keep from being a monopoly, because Google had
Alphabet
and everything. Yeah, they got Alphabet, which owns Google, which has other crap. So you could do it like that because those other things are still their own entity. It's just under a umbrella, so it's not a monopoly. That's all Microsoft is doing, the same crap. So
smart.
If I see it in the next 6 months, I'm not gonna be surprised. I'm gonna be like, well. He just went and picked up the scraps of the company, and he's going to take the best of what they got left, and they'll probably put out some historic-ass game, and it'll be free on Game Pass. Remember I said that, if it happens, you heard it here first. Right here on the Get Down. Don't forget, if you are watching, hit the like button. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. Hit us up, chat, ask questions. Definitely like questions. But moving on from all the negative stuff, we're going to talk some positivity. Positivity. So we have been. I've been holding off on this because I wanted to wait, but we're a little past the halfway point of the year, and I feel like we can talk a little bit about what are the best games of the year so far. And GameSpot had their little list, and I watched it, and I agree with. They didn't put numbers to anything, so I'm glad they didn't do that, because I'm not going to put numbers to anything. But I did pick things out of their list, and some of this stuff I was already on my personal list. But then there were some things that I didn't know about that I got to see some previews of, got to see some game footage of. They're really, really awesome. I haven't had a chance to play them, but they look really, really good. So I added them to my list, and I wanted to share that list real quick. Shouldn't take that long. So first on the list, Ratchet and Clank Ripped Apart. Listen.
No.
Of course, Snake says no, but look,
Why
the game itself is revolutionary. It's one of the top games because it's revolutionary. It's a revolutionary game because of the way you can jump. Because you can jump between time, like between eras in the game, live, real time. I mean, the power of the console is displayed in that game. So it makes this as one of the best of the year so far. I'm not saying it's the best. It is definitely one of the best because it displays pure power of the new consoles. That is why. Plus, I don't have an issue with Ratchet and Clank. Listen, Ratchet and Clank, even some of the older ones, I enjoyed it because Clank, I don't know if y'all remember, but Clank used to walk around cussing and shit. I know y'all heard that.
Oh yeah!
Yeah, bro. Like Clank, Clank cussed and I was floored. I was like, what? Did he just cuss? This is supposed to be a kid's game. And he cussed. Like not, and it wasn't like, damn. He was like mumbling, you stupid motherfucker, and fuck this. And I was like, whoa. So listen, Ratchet and Clank, while it is not my first pick, it is definitely not number one game of the year. It is in there for it, just based off of nostalgia and the way it displays the power of the console. It was one of the first ones to really put on a show for the power of what these new consoles can do, namely the PlayStation. Because be able to change levels like that, I mean, in the blink of an eye, he's literally jumping through different levels, entire levels. He's jumping through them one after another, and it's full-blown things. Like that's impressive. So that one made the list. There was another game that I have not played that I had not seen until I saw this list, and I had to go and find it online and look at this game, and it is dope. It's Guilty Gear Strive. This game, it's not cel shaded, but it's not quite anime. But it's like a fighting game. But you remember, I forget what Mortal Kombat it is, where you could like because you've always had the ability since Mortal Kombat like 3 to like you could upcut the character and like knock them up through the roof to another level. Okay, in this game, it's kind of like that, but it's everything is anime-ish, and you can like kick a dude off a cliff and he'll fly to another part of the level, but the game plays like a fighting game, like a side fighting game, like Dragon Ball Fighters. It plays like that, like Street Fighter. That's how it's normally played until you get into this. If you execute the move right, you do it. It kicks like it'll do some deal and it'll kick the dude off the level. He'll go flying, land in a different spot, and then here you come. But it has all types of different characters. They all look dope. At the end of this particular trailer that I watched, it ended and made it seem like it's gonna go off, and then they showed after the fact there was a black samurai. I mean, bro had dreads and everything. He had his suit, and it was like he was like a mech, he had like armor, like new age armor, but he was a samurai. He had the samurai sword in front and everything, and then his mask like unfolded onto his face, and it covered his face. He looked dope. I'd never seen this game, but it looked like it was a lot of fun.
What's it called?
It's called Guilty Gear Strive, and I had never seen it until I saw this list. And once I went and looked at it, I was like, "Yo, this is dope." I understand why this is one of their picks, but I understand why they think this is one of the better games of the year because it did look awesome. Like it looked awesome. The mechanics.
Yeah, I think this was one of the only fighting games, honestly, that came out this year. I want to say, at least so far. Anyway.
Tekken. I think did Tekken come out this year?
No, they just released Kazooie for the Switch, but they but this was the only like brand new fighting game that came out at least 2021. But yeah, it's a fighting game. They had a bunch of other Guilty Gears, and some are good, some are bad. And I heard this one was coming out. I didn't get a chance to look at it, but based off what you're saying, it sounds like they're back to their. Because it's kind of like, remember how Street Fighter had their ups and downs? You had the Street Fighter 3D one, which was really weird, and you had the Street Fighter Turbo. It was like, wow, and like that was dope because you did all this extra stuff and it was moving really fast. Then Street Fighter 4 was like wet. The Street Fighter 5 was amazing. So that's how Guilty Gear is. It had so many different renditions, and it's like they're doing that. But it looks. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it, but based off that, I kind of want to go see it now. No, I'm a fight. I like fighting games. Fighting games are fun to me, so I like it.
It's definitely worth the look. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely go check it out. So another one that made the list, Resident Evil Village. I don't have first-hand experience with this. I've watched a lot of live streams of this. I was iffy on it at first until I watched a few more live streams. And I can respect it because it does, as our own boy Kazi, shout out Kazi, as he said, it kind of went back to the original premise of Resident Evil. I was always a big fan of Resident Evil 4, and to be honest, Resident Evil 4 is more of just a shooter than it is like traditional Resident Evil jump scares and shooting zombies. Like, it's just different. Like, those things weren't even zombies. Those were infected people that had problems. They were people. This game, while it deals with people, it still has that element of it brings you back to like, I'm gonna turn this corner, I don't know what's around here, and something jumps out and you damn near drop your control, and it's like for a real jump scare. This game brings that back in a big way, and I have a new respect for it because I was, like I said, kind of iffy on it. Like, but I after watching some streams, watching some guys play it, I can see why. And it's a beautiful game. It never was a visual thing for me. Visually is awesome, but I wasn't into the style of it at first. But it's grown on me. So definitely see why they would have picked Resident Evil Village.
Yeah, what I like about it is because I watched a couple of reviews for it, and it's like you said, it takes it back to that old school, but then it dropped 4 in the middle of it. There's a part in there where they fight werewolves, So then that's when it turns to like Resident Evil 4. It's like, bah, bah. They just keep jumping at you. And these werewolves come out here and you got to shoot them over here, shoot them over here. And I was like, oh, okay, now they moved Resident Evil 4. So it's kind of like they did a really good job of putting that, okay, I'm going to go around this corner, it's real slow. I fight one monster, something chasing me, just like Nemesis. Oh, wait, these werewolves and just like Resident Evil 4, people coming at you, boom, 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 action scene, slow, crazy monster. So it's a little bit for everybody in there. Now the only thing though, I will say, I don't get why people like that tall lady. I don't know, it must be some kind of weird nerd thing. They love to mess at that vampire lady. They love her.
Like they
love her.
Like the tall lady is like like people are obsessed with this tall lady. Like I saw her, but everybody is like, oh, tall lady, man, it's the best part of the game. I'm like, bruh, okay, I guess. I enjoy the jump scares. You talking about the damn lady? I don't care about the damn lady, but apparently
they got mods. They got mods and stuff to put her in lingerie and stuff. Like what the?
Yeah.
They have turned her into an absolute thing. And like, you know, I guess I get it. She's like a meme now. Like that lady in the game is like famous, and the lady that voiced her has become famous because they have her on different things, like reading in the voice of the character, like reading different lines from different games in the voice of the lady from Resident Evil. Like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I think the only thing I can relate to that to help all my nerd friends and people who are obsessed with her is that I got. I mean, well, of course, but I got to take it back to this. We had pixels that were like so messed up. They were like this, right? Pixels back in the PlayStation 2 days, and there was this game called Metal Gear, and there was this girl called Meryl, and everybody tried to run to the restroom as fast as you can because you get to see Meryl in lingerie. And everybody is so it's I think it's that type of feel with this for some reason. I think because of stuff like that, and then it was another thing back in the day with Tomb Raider. I think because of that type of stuff.
Thing back in the day called porn.
Yeah.
Anyway, we talk about nice wholesome gamers ish, but because of that, I think that's what made gamers decided to we want to do or find little secrets or trinkets or memes and things like that. So that's my only thing I can think of. Other than that, then it is what Snake said. I don't know. I'm gonna go with mine. I'm gonna go with mine. Mine's better. Mine's more nerdy. The other one's just weird and
y'all push that like button if you like mine.
Do that. Don't
smash
do that.
It. Just smash
it. Don't do that.
Because you know the truth.
Don't. The truth is you guys play Metal Gear. That's fine. It's okay.
The truth is y'all just like me.
We're gonna have Hammer keep moving on because you know this is getting a little out of hand.
Look.
Ray
over there trying to push the button himself.
No, don't.
Let me worry about my business.
Either way, that's the only thing I can think.
Because he knows.
You know what? The other thing I liked about the game, you know, while we're being ridiculous, you know, we have to excuse Snake. You know, he's
don't excuse me.
But I was excited about old man Chris Redfield because I thought it was funny. It was funny. It was just like, hey, there's Chris back in another game. Like usually Resident Evil, you always want to see somebody that you recognize from the game. You know, for a while it was always Leon and Claire, and you know, sometimes you get Ava,
Jill.
Yeah. This one was going on. You're like, okay, you know, new characters. What are we doing? And then I was like, oh, hey, there's Chris Redfield, but he's old. He looked like he was a little bit fat, to be honest. I mean, in that one clip I saw, he looked like he kind of fat. But anyway, you got old man Chris, so I thought that was cool. They kind of, you know, they aged him so it doesn't seem like every other one where it's like they don't age. They're always the same age in every game. So I thought that was cool too. But moving on, a game that I really can't appreciate because I played a lot of it. Me and Snake played, and Kaiser played, and JR, and a few other people we played with. Knockout City.
Oh, yeah.
Knockout City made their list, and it makes my personal list because I had a ton of fun with this game. It's definitely
crap.
Definitely a party game, even though it's online multiplayer. It's a party game. You're basically playing dodgeball in different areas of the city. And it's like you can play one-on-one or you can play team dodgeball. You know, but you have different type of dodgeballs. Like, you know, you have one that like splits into three. You have ones that are bombs. Like it's ridiculous. It's very over the top. It's cartoony, but it's a ton of fun. I mean, we played a lot, and you know, it's a good laugh whenever you like, you know, you run around trying to throw freaking dodgeballs at each other, and knock your buddy off the freaking map, you know, or you know, whatever it is, just trying to get points. So definitely understand how that made lists and made my personal list.
So what you're saying is that somebody throws a nerdy party. You got your board game, sure. You got your beer pong, sure. You got your Call of Duty, sure. You got what's the name of the game? Party? Knockout. What is Knockout?
Knockout City.
Knockout City. You got Knockout City and you got Smash Brothers. So if somebody's like, oh, well, you didn't beat me in Smash Brothers, bro. You want some of this? Get on the Knockout City. Let's go. And then you can get on there and, you know, you can drink your hearts out and just, bro, what's up? Go. You know. So, okay, I get it. I get why. I get it.
100%. 100%.
I get it.
100% could do it. Like it's that kind of thing. You could easily make it that if you wanted to be that. It's definitely a part of the game, and I enjoyed every second of it. Even when I was losing, it was still funny to me. Sorry, I'm putting my deal back on my incense over there.
You need to get on that new game, right? You like Knockout City, you're gonna like that one.
I do need to get on that game.
It's a Lethal Legend Blaze? Lethal League Blaze. That's Lethal League Blaze.
I saw it on Game Pass and I saw Kazu's video too.
Me and Kazu, like literally we were going at it and it felt like Budokai 3 all over again.
Uh-oh.
It was insane.
I'm definitely going to check it out.
How fun it was.
So, next on the list, another one that was on my list, even though I hadn't played it because I don't have a PlayStation because I can't get one. That's besides the point. Hitman 3. I'm not gonna go into detail about Hitman 3. We know what it is.
I know what it is.
We know why it's good. It's another one of the ones I've watched gameplay since I can't get a PlayStation. So I've watched the gameplay of it, and it's, you know, I was a fan of Hitman back even before. So I mean, and this one is really good, and the maps are good, and everything is overall just a great game. Now they did say, and I've only read one game on here that I feel like is going to be on the list for Game of the Year.
Dun, dun, dun.
And Snake is going to be pissed off about it, but it's the truth. But the only game that I've read out so far that I think is really going to be in the running for Game of the Year is Ratchet and Clank, and that's just because it has a big following. I mean, you can boo it all day.
And it's going to be right all day, too. Boo.
Whenever they get ready to read off the nominations, when they read off the nominations, I guarantee you, Ratchet and Clank is going to be on there. Because, again, it was the first game. Yes, it is. I'm sorry, it is. It is the first game that displayed the power of new consoles, period. Like the real raw power of the consoles. It displayed it fully, especially for PlayStation. It showed it. It showed what it was capable of. Bruh, it's
not out yet.
Because Battlefield's gonna be up there, and then Halo Infinite is gonna be on there.
I hope they are. Like, I think Halo Infinite should win.
I'm just saying, like, you getting ahead of yourself.
No, I said it's gonna be on the list. I didn't say
the nomination list.
It'll make the nomination list.
No, you know how it goes. They say, and for Game of the Year, then they say Battlefield, then you see this thing, then they say Halo, you see this thing, then you see like 2 or 3 other games, then they say Ratchet and Clank, and then it's gonna then it's gonna go off and then say Game of the Year is, and they open it, the little thingy.
It'll be one of the final 5 contestants for Game of the Year, I guarantee you.
They're gonna see Ratchet and Clank on there. Like, who put this order in for maintenance.
Okay,
no, this is
maintenance.
Snake's World.
They gonna think it's a maintenance list. Like, we need more ratchets and clanks. Whatever that means.
Stupid.
Snake's World. This is what's gonna happen in the real world. We understand that it's gonna make it just based on. I mean, again, the display of sheer power of the PlayStation. It was the first thing to show it. It displayed it better than anything they had out. It's gonna make it. I don't think it's gonna win. I with Halo coming out, I think everything has a hard time with Halo coming out. Honestly, Halo might win just pure bias. And I'm not saying Halo's not gonna be good. I'm not saying it's not gonna be great. I'm saying Halo could be subpar and still make top 5 lists because it's fucking Halo, and that's truth. That's truth. Been waiting on Halo for an extra year. Halo will make the list. I'm hoping it makes the list because it's just unbelievably good. I mean, it looked good from what I saw. But
and they fixed it, so it should be.
Yeah, I mean, they took the time to fix it. But look, Ratchet and Clank will be there, even if it's the number 5 of 5. It'll be.
No,
there.
it's not.
It will. Don't listen to him. Next on the list.
What we gonna do? We gonna do a bet
anyway. No, we're not doing it.
Don't want to do a
We're
bet?
not betting. Anyway, next on the list.
Because you know it's not going to happen.
Oh, God, okay. I didn't say it was going to win. I said it'll be on the list, and it will be.
It ain't going to be on the list.
Anyway.
That's what I'm talking about. It ain't going to be on
the list. The next game on the list is Returnal. This one was cool. I remember when we talked about it, I did bring it up on the show. Bingo, you remember the game Returnal, right? We talked about it. It's where the person keeps waking up and reliving the game, like I guess the same so many hours, so many days, whatever it is.
I didn't even know it was out already. I feel bad because I wanted to look at it. It came
out and it's been out, and you know, based on the concept, it's a smart game. It's very visually appealing. It's very, very visual, like visually intense. Like it's very, very, very nice looking. I can see why they edited it. It's another one that I can't enjoy because can't get another console. We won't go into that. It's a whole other rant. But I understand why this made the list. It's a new take on something that I don't think anybody really thought about. You know, you're taking a scenario that I don't remember happening in a game where you keep reliving them. It's like Groundhog Day, but like extreme. You know, and in a video game. Because there's like gory things. Like there's points where they die and then wake up and start over. Like that to me is extreme. Like you're reliving this thing and different things happen to you every time. And some of those include like gruesome, bloody, terrible death. And then you wake up and have to do it again. Like I said, Groundhog Day, but times 10 and terrible. So that was one thing that made their list, and I get that. Next on the list, Persona 5 Strikers. I can't play Persona. I don't have a PlayStation. Shout out Kaiser because I know he likes Persona. This is one of the times I wish he could be here to talk about Persona because he could tell you probably anything you want to know about it. I also have a guy that, when I was managing a TV station, I have an employee that was obsessed with Persona. Like, if we started talking Persona, he'd be on it for hours. Like, that was his game. If he didn't play anything else, he was going to play Persona. So that did make the list. The little video they had looked interesting. Like I said, I haven't experienced it. I haven't, and I can't because I don't have a console.
Yeah, it has a cult following too. It's like it has an anime to go with it. It had a fighting game to go with it at one point. Yeah. It's popular. It's really popular.
Yeah, it's very popular. He wasn't the first person I heard talk about Persona, and it's been a thing. So I mean, apparently because it's like Persona 5, so I guess that that says something. It's 5 games. So next up, Super Mario 3D World, and of course with Bowser's Fury. That'll make for Nintendo. That'll make Game of the Year nominations because it's Mario. Either it or Smash Brothers will make it. It may be both. Because I heard no negative about that game, to be honest. And to answer your question, my brother asked what's wrong with Ratchet and Clank. Absolutely nothing. Tyler's just a hater. So there you go. I'm glad you asked the question.
Tell your brother that's also the bias of the Prince and Persia thing that he hates, the time travel stuff. So yeah, he hated. So that also doesn't do it any justice.
Like
so.
Tyler hates everything. So we just, he hates everything.
Like
he hates anything good. He hates anything good. Anyway, like I said, Mario's Mario, and I think almost anybody can lose themselves for at least 30 minutes to an hour playing a Mario game. It's just the truth. To me, greatest Mario ever was like Mario 64. Like when they first went 3D, that game was ridiculous. I wasted a lot of time playing that game. So I mean, just like anybody else, dang it. Just like anybody else, I mean, I wasted my fair share of time playing that game. And I think that this one easily, like I said, I think it'll easily make it in. If it's not there in the top 10 by the end of the year, Smash Brothers will be. Smash Brothers, interestingly enough, wasn't on here, but I think that's because it was already a thing. But I feel like it'll make it. And they added the Bowser's Fury thing, and that's where you get to play it. You're traveling with Bowser's kid, trying to stop this Bowser that's like massive, and Mario grows huge. And the only thing weird about that, he's in a cat costume, and he gets big. Like it's a little bit strange there, but the rest of it's still Mario, and familiar characters. You got Toad, and the damn princess ain't lost this time, so I'm okay with that. Tired of that chick getting lost all the time. Sometimes I feel like, you know what? I think you do this shit on purpose. You just need to. I'm not going to get you this time. You figure it out.
All right, stop getting lost.
Anyway, that's besides the point. Anyhow, I only got 2 more left. Monster Hunter Rise.
Oh yeah.
That was that I thought was good, and that made my list personal. It was on their list, but I saw it and I was like, yeah, I can see why Monster Hunter's there. Monster Hunter's,
Shout out to Kaiser again. It's another game he's like a master at. That guy.
Yeah.
I played.
And Thomas played. Yeah, I was gonna say Thomas played.
I said master
of Monster Hunter.
Kaiser is a master at that. No. Tyler is great at it, but Kaiser is like, all right, Tyler, go ahead, go to bed. I'll play with you tomorrow. All right, Kaiser. Snake wakes up the next day. Kaiser's on level 5 million, and it's like, how you were just on level 300?
Exactly.
I decided to stay up and keep playing, and that is Kaiser on Monster Hunter.
That's the only thing, because he keeps freaking playing. He has the life to be able to do that.
That is any game. Kaiser does that. Kaiser made it to, what was it? Was it 1,000 or whatever on freaking Division? He made it to 1,000, took a picture of it, posted it on Facebook, and then uninstalled the game from his damn Xbox. I saw it, I was like, you son of a... You know what? I told him, I said, you tell him to quit bragging about his fucking 1,000 that he made it to, asshole. I was like, what the hell? Who makes it to 1,000, Kaiser? And then just nonchalantly, like, I uninstalled it. I just wanted to do that part, and now I'm good, so I'm going to uninstall it. It's like nothing to him to do it. And it's just like, oh, okay. I'm like, man, that's, to me, is an accomplishment. I'm like, hell yeah, I got 1,000. Yeah, look at this. Nope. Snapped a picture and moved on. So, yeah, that game made it. And then last but not least, something else that Tyler doesn't care about. This one...
Why you always got to talk about me, bro?
Game of the year. Oh, you won't, because you won't care about this one.
Why you always got to talk about me? Why you got to talk shit?
Bro, because you won't care about it. Anyway... I personally like this game. I'm not. It's not gonna be game of the year worthy. It's just I'm glad that they finally quit trying to be exclusive. But it made the GameSpot best games of the year so far. And that was MLB The Show 21. I was just happy because they quit being just PlayStation exclusive. I've been wanting a baseball game on Xbox forever. The last one we had was on original Xbox, no, 360.
Wow.
And college baseball. So, I mean, the fact that we got baseball finally back on an Xbox, that's what I was excited about. They, like they said, they put it on their best games of the year so far, which is fair. It's just not on mine of all the games. I'm not going to say that, but I am, like I said, I'm very, very excited for it. I'm happy that it exists because now I can play baseball on my console and I don't have to look at everybody else play on their PlayStation. So, But
and it's August now, right? So we got about 4, 5, 6 months left until
Yeah, so like anything else that comes out now is gonna be the tail end, and what you got Halo and Battlefield and this other game that we're fixing to talk about here in just a second is already out, but we got a new expansion coming out, and which I'm excited for. But oddly enough, I will say what was odd to me that was left off, and I know why it was left off because of some of the issues that it had, but the concept I would have think would have at least made it honorable mention. Outriders.
Oh yeah.
Outriders. Like, it didn't make the list.
Probably because of the bugs and everything that happened at that.
It did. But the concept of Outriders to me was enough for it to at least be like, hey, not game of the year, but one of the best games or best game concepts of the year so far. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, they could have mentioned it. Yeah.
Personally, I think it was dope. I think if they would have just finished it up and not had the bugs, that could have been. Without the bugs, I think Outriders is in competition for game of the year.
Speaking of bugs, what was Grounded at? I mean, you got a spider that's OP like Goku. Where you at, bro?
Well, Grounded was out in 2020, so I couldn't.
Okay,
Spider didn't do it. It was available in 2020. But
so you got an OP spider?
Bruh, they got more crap already. I'm not gonna get into that. That's a different show. They got another update with a whole bunch of other crap. I gotta turn that game on. Tyler won't turn it on. I think Tyler's scared of spiders. I don't blame him because that's some crazy.
I didn't say I wouldn't turn it on. Don't put those words in my mouth, sir.
We ain't turned it on yet. I've brought it up a couple times. We ain't turned it on.
You ain't even got on because somebody ain't on. When was the last time you been playing the game?
Look, never. Sir, just because I
don't throw me in. Don't throw me in there. You don't want to.
I ain't throw you in nowhere, sir. I'm about to get that.
Try to throw me under the balls.
Under the balls?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's how bad you trying to throw me under the balls.
Under the balls?
Mm-hmm. Not the bus. The balls. Y'all ain't never heard that one, have you?
I don't think that's a thing. But
I just made it up.
It's all right. You're gonna be under a set of balls for long. Don't forget Halo's coming out. Teabag, baby.
Think about it. Like when you get in trouble, if somebody go tell the boss, tell the teacher, tell the boss.
Like throw him under the balls. He heard. He didn't hear balls. He heard BALLS.
Oh, the balls.
I thought that's what you said. Throw it under the balls.
You want me to throw it under the balls? I mean,
whoa. Like I said, you got time for that, bro. Remember, Halo coming out. Teabag, baby. Yes. That is happening. The first person I kill at Halo is getting it.
Man, I just don't know what you be hearing and stuff, I don't know.
Hey, man, that's what it sounded like, because I think Nick heard that too. Because I said, whoa, and he like looking too like, whoa.
What you want?
So the game, are you gonna talk about, are you talking about the game he's playing right now, Ascent?
No, that's not the game I'm talking about. So, last thing I want to talk about, it's an addition to a game that already exists. I know the game bombed, but I'm excited because it's got one of my favorite characters coming in, its own expansion, and that's Marvel's Avengers, because the War for Wakanda. It's almost time for the War for Wakanda, which means they're adding Black Panther to Marvel's Avengers. Now, I saw a trailer today. As a matter of fact, it happened today. I saw this trailer and explained a little bit more about what's going to happen. Basically, I can tell you the villain is going to be Claw. Ulysses S. Claw. He's going to be the main person. It's still going to have to do with... it's going to incorporate in, I believe, with the main story as well, with the Avengers. We're dealing with AIM.
AIM, right,
with the... I forget her name when she takes over. I forget her name right now, but dealing with her, I think they're going to incorporate that in some kind of way. But the main villain for Wakanda is going to be Claw. He's going to be obviously trying to come get vibranium, because they have that whole scene in the first trailer where he's telling, T'Challa, vibranium doesn't belong to you, and he's like, you're right, it doesn't belong to me. It belongs to Wakanda. You can't have it. It's going to have to do with vibranium and Wakanda. But interestingly enough, in this one, which was narrated by I'm going blank. What is the Mingo? You can tell me. You're the movie guy. The head protector, the warrior, is played by Gabrielle. What's her name from The Walking Dead? The main warrior chick.
Nobi or what's her name? Right.
You know who?
She plays. He just said it, Nairobi or something like that. Yeah, she was on the actual Black Panther movie. She was one of the protectors, and she plays Michonne, whatever her name is on The Walking Dead.
Her. Okay, so her. That it's not her exactly her, but her character is narrating. They're narrating this little thing they put out, and it's explaining, who T'Challa is, and it goes into a little bit of T'Chaka, and apparently Shuri is going to have something to do with this. She's not going to be playable. They have not said she's going to be playable. The only playable character that they're adding is, King T'Challa and the Black Panther. But interestingly enough, she says that the children of T'Chaka are going to have to come together and work together to stop the threat to Wakanda. So Shuri is going to have a role in this new add-on that they're adding to this game, along with the Avengers, because she says, the Avengers are showing up, but are they going to be a help to us, or are they going to hinder us? So I think there's going to be a little bit of conflict there, maybe not between, T'Challa and the Avengers, but between maybe, the Guardians, the warrior chick, and the Avengers. Maybe they feel a certain kind of way about each other initially. So it definitely piqued my interest, and I'm excited because I've been excited because I'm getting Black Panther, but then the fact that the story is going to have Shuri in it and it's going to involve her, because again, it said the children of T'Chaka, so that means her and T'Challa are going to have to do something. That means she's going to have some role. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Yeah. If anything is what I like about the game is the action has been pretty good. So if they give you, whether it's some MCU stuff, some stuff from the comics, and they give his moveset, and you got a lot of Black Panther moveset, the same way they did with Black Widow, to her moveset is really dope. If they give you some real authentic Black Panther moveset, and it's just amazing. Even if they give you that suit that just the kinetic suit, something. If they give you stuff like that, that'd be dope. That's really what I can't wait to see.
I can confirm he did have the purple kinetic, it had that, because he did the deal like this, and he had the claws up. When he did that, there were certain parts of the suit that lit purple. Quick frame. It was a real quick split-second thing, but you saw it turn purple, and I was like, ha, yes, that's going to be in the game. That's dope. The suit itself is different. It is not the same as the one in the movie. Because you remember in the Black Panther movie, he started off with the original suit, and then he switched to the new one because it was the necklace, where he could hit the necklace and it did the nanite, which Tony Stark turned around and used to make a suit. It's another story. That's movie time. But it was the same tech for that. But this one is not going to have the chain or the necklace, so it's the original suit. But it has the kinetic thing, because it did light up purple. He did his little Wakanda Forever thing, but with the claws out, his hands like this, and it lit up purple, and he reflected something. He reflected some kind of energy, something that was trying to hit him. He was able to it bounced off of him. So I'm assuming that's the kinetic energy that's going to be involved in the game. Visually, it looked awesome. Everything I saw about it looked great. It didn't look weird. Claw looks a little young to me. I mean, if I had a gripe, I guess that would be the one gripe. He looked a little bit young, but I mean, I don't hate it. I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be good. My brother already said ew Avengers game, but listen. I get it. People didn't like it. Again, I enjoyed the game. I don't know what everybody's gripe is about it. I think everybody wants way too much out of a video game sometimes, and I win.
But it's good now though. It reminds me of how Destiny first did, right? Destiny came out and everybody was like, oh. Then it evolved and got better and got better and got better. And now people, especially the people who are still playing Destiny which I'm not sure how that update's working now, but like people who still play Destiny, whether they're playing the old stuff or some of the new updates, it's good. Like, it's not a bad game at all. So Marvel's Avengers is not bad anymore. It's not bad. Maybe when it first launched with the bugs and stuff, but that goes back to what Kaiser talks about, which is broken games. That might be all games, maybe not all games, but a big chunk of them coming out with the bugs that are at least noticeable like that. But you give them like 3 or 4 weeks and then you play it. It's pretty good most of the time. We're not gonna talk about that one game, that cyber game, but we're gonna stick to the. So.
We will not talk about that game.
I'm not gonna talk about it.
Like I said, I think people just. I get the frustration with it altogether. Like, I really do. I get the frustration when the game first came out. But I played through the game, and I've got like. I'm 100% done with 2 parts of the story. I'm like 96% done with the Kate Bishop part. Like, I've enjoyed everything. Like, even some of the stuff that you have to replay, I'm not mad about it. The difficulty goes up. I get new gear. I'm always finding different ways to do shit. I'm learning to be better with more than just one character. Like, I don't see the real gripe in it anymore. Like, I'm like, you were just sour on the game in the beginning, and again, I get it. Some people are sour, and that's the end of it. But I gave it a chance, I guess, at a later date, and I guess that's why I'm indifferent about it. I'm like, to me, it played great. So I'm excited to get T'Challa. Shuri's going to be involved. I can't wait, and I'm curious about what they might add next, because they said this is not the end of what they're going to add. So, I am interested in what they might decide to add next. There's lots of Avengers.
Give us Loki. I don't know how that would work, but give us Loki. I'll play with him. Just give us like give us villains. Like, let us play with the villains from either their perspective, or just give us like villain side missions and have them do like destructive things, and then you got to fight. Maybe one boss is Iron Man, another boss is Hulk, or something like that. I'll play that.
And it's interesting you said Hulk, because I was going to say it's not out of realm possibility since they've messed with time already. Because when you do the Hawkeye mission with Barton, when you get Barton, you're dealing with old Clint Barton. And you're dealing with time because Hank Pym. You go through time and you meet old Clint Barton, and you have to fight Maestro, which is Hulk, but like mega smart Hulk that like is the only survivor out of all the Avengers in that timeline. And he's technically a villain at that point. He's a tyrant of that era, of that time frame, because he's the only one left. That he was smart. He even says like, I was smart, I was a survivor. Everybody else died. I was the one that survived. I killed the villains and everybody else. I'm the king. I'm the ruler. And it is what it is. It's kind of hard not to agree with him whenever he's the damn Hulk. So, it's not out of the realm of possibility, because it's not. I don't feel like you're limited to that story because they've already dipped into time travel. T'Challa, they're adding this in based off of, they've already added costumes from the movies. AIM wasn't in the movies for Avengers. They weren't directly dealing with AIM like that. So I think you can add whatever characters you really want to. Again, we don't get Ant-Man because the way they wrote the story. So Hank Pym is strictly a scientist in this game. But being that he's dealing with time, he may go back to a different time, and you get a different Hank Pym that's not, restricted, because if he makes himself miniature again, it'll kill him. Maybe you get that Ant-Man. Maybe you get Wasp. Only one we won't get is Spider-Man, and that's because Sony is kind of a dick about Spider-Man. But besides the point.
Yeah, they kind of are.
Yeah, besides the point. But after that, sir, I've got nothing else. I am nerded out. I'm done. We have talked negative. We have talked positive. We have argued because people don't like certain games.
Maybe if you say a good game, we can have something to talk about.
Ratchet and Clank is a good game. Just because you don't like it, sir, there's millions of other people that do it.
Because you don't know what a good game is, you know.
You don't know what good game is.
You're over there playing them little baby games. Little baby games. Some baby
playing your
games.
little top-down game over there. Nobody cares about your top-down game. Nobody wants to play your little
Ratchet and Clank baby game.
Bruh. It's an adult game.
It's baby.
There's cussing. It's an adult game.
It's a baby game.
They removed themselves from the realm of baby games once they started cussing.
No, because I cuss around babies. And what?
My brother said rolled on the floor. My brother said rolled on the floor laughing nerd fight. This is all the time, bro. This is all the time. I have to, because this is like a thing. I have to do it. I have to pick. Because if I don't, then it's like boring. Like, I have to say something to set him off. Like, if you really want to set him off, Mingo knows how to really set him off. Mingo does it every once in a while in his show. And sometimes he does it in the anime show.
I definitely do it in the anime show.
He's gotten better about it, though. He's gotten way better about it. Because he just takes a vow of silence on it and doesn't say anything.
Yeah, he does.
You talk about that one anime that you said is one of the big three that he refuses to acknowledge.
It is. I mean, it is, though. It is.
Bruh, listen, I don't like One Piece either, but it's one of the big three. Okay?
We're not even on...
Let it go. Let it go, bro.
It's so funny.
Just let it go.
He's like, so... funny.
Oh, man, we appreciate y'all for watching. Again, if you like what you see here, if you have questions, make sure you comment. Please hit that like button if you're on YouTube. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, like buttons, heart buttons, whatever you want to do. Comment, talk to us. Like our page. Like our page. Get on there and talk about stuff you want to talk about. I check that thing all the time. So if you have questions, please feel free to get on there and ask them. I will ask a question or answer a question. It's not that big of a deal. And if I don't know, I'll find somebody that does know, and I will tell you the answer to it.
It's okay, Ray. If you want to ask a question, I'll answer it.
See, so even Snake says he'll answer a question.
Talking about you. You said you would ask a question.
He's being petty. Anyway, like I said, we enjoyed having y'all with us. Make sure you tune in Friday for Mr. Snake show over there. I'm sure he's gonna have something to talk about since we didn't get to do the show this time. It's my fault.
We didn't get to do the show.
Go ahead and put that out there before he says something. It was my fault. We didn't have a show. He was here in town where I was at, and
we had
a misunderstanding.
I could have been sitting right there next to him.
He could have been sitting right here in front of
a Deadpool costume.
I made the mistake and thought we weren't doing the show because he was out of town. Well, he was in my town, but he wasn't home. It was my
Even though we talked about it on the show, like, hey, I'll be down there.
You
so
said
we do the show
down here. Then there was like, well, I don't know if I will make it in time, so then we didn't do it on that Friday. You know, we were scheduled for Saturday. That's still besides the point. Friday is coming up in a couple of days. Make sure you tune in so you can get your anime news. Nerdmation going down. Mr. Snake right there will be there. I'm sure he's got plenty to talk about. He's always got stuff to talk about. He finds stuff that I don't even know where he finds all this stuff. But definitely tune in for that. And don't forget the man right here with the movies. Don't forget the man with the movies. You know, we had a great show before. He talked about state of streaming. I know he's gonna have some more good stuff. Catch him on Prime Time with Mr. Mingo D on Mondays. And for now, I'm gonna say I'm the Hammer. That's Mingo D. That's Snake. He's a loser. And we will guys next time.
That's why it's taking you forever to end this show.
Shut up.
God.
I just ended it and you talked over my ending, sir.
God.
Good night, y'all.
Take forever.